I actually think we are live.
Yes, we are.
We are live. Welcome one and all to the Friday Don't Dream It, Stream It Marketing Happy Hour. And today I guess I'm running the controls today because JohnPaduchak's not here. Angela bailed on us, but we have Cam, and Troy McDonald. So I am Dr. Christopher Vogelman. I am what am I? I'm Chief Marketing Officer for Maximize Your Media and the Director of Coaching for Life Beyond Practice, which is the program that teaches doctors how to build their own online businesses so they have more free time, freedom, and funds, F-U-N-D-S. And with me over here.
Hey, I'm Troy McDonald, and I have the group LiveEventMarketers.com. And I say group because if you go to that URL, it'll take you to the exact same group that it represents, which is in Facebook. And it's where we discuss marketing and business and how live streams relate to that. So you can go in there and discuss equipment, problems, issues, questions you have about live streaming. And then you can also share your live stream as long as it's business or marketing related in there as well.
That's true.
And then below
us, but perhaps above us.
Hey, what's up?
Who looks like he's doing something.
Yep. Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, I was I'm on Facebook. I'm trying to share the live stream for people. You guys, what's up? If you don't know me, I'm Cam Jennings, aka Cam Fats, and I own EpicConversions.com publishing company, and yeah, that's what I do, man. And I hang out on Facebook a lot and do this interwebs marketing for quite a while now. It's fantastic, though. And I've been invited to this live stream, and I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much for having me today.
You're welcome. You were
Absolutely.
not, by the way, you were not an afterthought. We thought we could fit 5 or 6 people in here today, but people dropped out.
Well, to start off, I'm going to show you one of my drinks of choice for today.
Yeah.
It's the old made with sugar Dr. Pepper.
Oh, boy. Oh, I see. Cane sugar.
Yes. And then I may double fist it if I finish that one because that one's about actually halfway done. I'm going for one of these.
Oh, dads. Did your kids get you that?
Actually, they did. They got me a case of it.
I want a case. Dad's a case. So we're getting... There's some weird, by the way, there are some weird errors in StreamYard right now. So I would complain to the management, but this is John's account. It says an error occurred a moment ago and you can try again.
Oh my goodness.
But it says we're live, but it keeps John is not live apparently from his page. So,
okay.
Sorry, John.
I'm trying to get over to the group. My Facebook is really slow for some reason.
Yeah, Facebook's doing funny things these days. And
have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff. I was mentioning to Troy, just as we came in here, that before this, that all of a sudden in Facebook Messenger, it's creating the hyperlinks for whoever I'm talking about. And I've never seen that before today.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's bizarre. So I guess you make sure that they're alerted everywhere they can possibly be that you're trying to message them.
Well, yeah, Facebook, they've had their new rollout that they've been doing, and it hadn't hit me forever. Then it hit me a few days ago, and it's slow as molasses. I hate it. I think it's stupid. Yeah. I can't believe that they roll something out that they haven't tested that. I mean, I have plenty of memory and everything. And yeah, it's just.
I'm glad you're not seeing that.
Well, I'm referring to my computer.
Oh, your computer.
Yeah.
Okay. That's different.
It and I are one.
I see. We are Borg. Resistance is futile.
And so, but they also rolled out a new update to Messenger.
Yeah.
And then the Facebook app on your phone and stuff is new. And the phone one works fine, but it's the browser-based one that's molasses.
The phone has been working great, actually. I've had no complaints with it, but as soon as you get into the browser, it's like, whoa, there's no more browsing.
Yeah, exactly.
You're either you're going to buy, but you can't be just looking. So
they are
still. It slows down crazy.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good at notifications for the most part now.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd say it's probably about like 85-90% of notifications. Still, some aren't coming through or whatever, but so they're at least kind of back to where they sort of were originally before all the COVID stuff, but it's not at 100 yet.
I'm trying to share
Will
this
it
thing
ever
and get
be
a few
100?
people on here, man.
Well, you do your thing. We're just gonna yap about what we've been doing this week.
You share because you care. So, Troy, what have you been up to this week?
Hey, I just said that. I get to ask you that first. What have you been up to this week?
There's a delay here for me, apparently.
Well, no, I already said.
I can tell you, I've been going back to taking a look at things like Restream and Lula TV and every single platform you can possibly imagine, trying to find the right combination of platforms. And I'm coming to the conclusion that I actually need to use Ecamm Live and something like Restream to do what I want to do in terms of overlays and other things like that. Stephanie Liu had a great broadcast the other day of using, gosh, I can't remember what the name of it's called.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That was really good. And you can use, she's using the free version, and the hack was to put her own little logo on top of their logo as the hack to make it look like you're paying them $1,000 a year. So that was awesome. So
yeah, well, that is until they just go ahead and they make it the final overlay, so it overlays on top of everything. Yeah,
I know. But anyway, it's a great hack, at least for maybe, I don't know, 15 or 30 days till they figure it out.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, because like a lot of people will talk about, keeping your streams simple, and I agree with that. However, it's kind of like, when you're first, driving a car, I'm just going to pick some kind of random example, right? Like your parents, well, okay, I guess it depends on where you come from and what kind of money your parents got and stuff, but you ain't getting that brand new, Mercedes, whatever, as your first starter car,
It's a used Lambo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, used
Lambo.
But you know what I mean? Like when you're first starting to stream, I think you ought to, kind of keep it basic, etc. But when there's certain types of things that you feel that you need to help you bring your point across in your content, and also, people do also have some sort of expectation for the quality of what they're looking at. At the same time, your content's got to be on, because if your content's not good and you're just trying to make it look pretty, that is like lipstick on a pig.
I'm not wearing lipstick.
I didn't say you were a pig.
Okay. Me neither, man.
So so that's my comment on that. What I've been working on this week is, of course, my live setup. My wife has kind of messed up her shoulder a little bit, so not only have she's been my helper moving things around, but then, man, things have been so slow and ancient when it comes to shipping.
Oh yeah.
That's been driving me nuts. So I finally did get some lights yesterday that I showed. I did a live stream with the Live Event Marketers group, showed them kind of like a little bit of the light setup that I got and how I'll be using it. Because I will be doing live streams both standing and sitting. Most of them I'm going to do standing, as we've kind of talked about in the past, kind of keep the energy up and things like that. And so these lights will mount to my desk that rises and lowers, so it'll always kind of be exact where I need it, whether I'm sitting or standing, versus having ones on tripods where I have to like lower it and I want it all manually each time. Because have you noticed the difference between standing and sitting with your engagement on live streams?
I haven't done any standing ones, so I don't know.
But I haven't done any on it, but I will throw two things out about that. One, I don't care about an engagement in the sense of a vanity metric.
Oh yeah,
sure.
And I want to reach those who I want to reach. But two, hey Terry, welcome. So and then the other thing is,
I forgot about my sister.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to mention her just in case she decided to come on with her. Give us the bottle.
What did she call us? She called us the stream team. That's not bad, because we don't dream it, stream it. I like
that's right. Team. And I just know generally, like, I am very kind of, handsy, moving around stuff, and it's just a whole different thing when you're standing up.
This kind of a more energy.
Yeah, it's a more energy kind of vibe thing, and that's how I am in general.
That's cool.
And so that's why I'm doing it. I mean, I hadn't really ever, well, I actually had thought about it, but I didn't think of how I was going to pull it off. Then when Angela Langlots from the Live Event Marketers Group, when she was doing all her stand up, I just was like, man, that makes so much sense, and it does fit my vibe. That I'm like, I'm just going to figure out how to do it, or make it so it worked for me. And that's where, again, you want to remove all the things that want to keep you from streaming. So I was like, okay, I want to set my lights up so they're always perfect, whether the desk is up or down, because I do most of my stuff, down, the desk down, typing and all stuff like that. I don't want to be standing up all day long doing this kind of thing.
It's a nice variation, man. It's a nice variation. It's almost like having a different background or something,
Yeah.
It's a nice little variation on what you're trying to do. I was thinking, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
It's also a lot better on your back. Having treated people for 33 years, I can tell you that standing puts a lot less pressure on your spine than sitting down does. So getting that variety, it's a huge difference. You would be better off doing your live streams lying down than sitting.
Is that right?
Standing rather than either of them.
The bed cam.
The bed cam, the overhead cam.
That's amazing.
NFL games just kind of come across. That's the real reason why Troy has a sheet behind him. It's actually going to be the bed cam.
I am actually lying down right now.
Yeah, I can tell. but reaching your audience is what we were talking a little bit about earlier. I don't know if we can segue to that, or is that going to be?
Yeah.
Well, I also know that on Fridays we do cover a lot of different things. I mean, typically when we did during the week, we had a main topic, and Cam, I know you're new, but don't feel, I know that you've kind of been like, oh, wait, you talk. Sometimes you just got to interject. So, because we are both talkers. So
I love it, man. I love it.
According to Terry, we are the stuff that streams are made of.
Well, those Texas people know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I love it, guys. I think that, this is an awesome topic too. Different ways to reach and to grow your audience is, it's really the lifeblood of internet marketing, to be honest. I mean, if you think about like the core of the whole thing is an email list, and the core of the whole thing is list building. So many people I see trying to build their list, but they use like solo ads to do it, or they use like safe lists to do it, or they use some other paid methods to do it, and they haven't really taken the time to connect with their audience at all. And what I don't think they realize is whether those people are on your list or whether you're catching them on Facebook or whatever, you're really still going to have to do audience building. Even if they're on your list and they don't know you, you're still going to have to connect with them somehow. So,
and just because they're on your list doesn't mean they're actually opening your emails.
Yeah, exactly.
I've purged a lot of email addresses, especially somebody who hasn't opened anything in a year. I tend to think they're not going to open anything next year either. So
probably not, man. Now maybe if you drop that bomb about doing live streams on your back, they might.
Yeah. It's just, anyway, but Troy is like Mr. Email.
Well, I agree. I mean, and that's what I meant by vanity metrics, in the sense of, you're getting likes. So you're getting likes and all those kind of things like that, or just the number of people that you have following you increases. Yes, that's great and all, but it is more that vanity metric. It is, but how many people are you actually connecting to? How many are your true 1,000, or just who do you really have a connection with? Because I agree with Cam that it's flat out like, you're going to have, I mean, they're on your list for some reason. They initially got connected to you somehow, and there was some micro bit of interest. But if you're not really building that relationship with them, then again, is it going to be opened, or is it going to fall on deaf ears, so to speak, to where, they might read it, but when they're just, are their ears going to perk up and really listen to what you have to say on why you're promoting either your own stuff or an affiliate offer? I mean, especially to just break through all the noise. And that's partly what I've been looking at recently as well, as I'm putting together kind of my new system of all the little different pieces that I've been doing is really, getting your true audience, breaking through the noise, and really meaning something in their life, so that because I look at, you can kind of call it guru in a sense, you know what I mean? Where people use gurus to help them filter. information.
I think it's the trusted advisor role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I just really been looking at that and how are you building that trusted advisor role, with your audience? Because again, it may be great you have 10,000 on your list or something like that, but again, that's just more of a
I don't know if that metric really works, because people would always say things like, if you have is it on a monthly basis, if you have 10,000 people on your list, you can translate each person on average. Of course, people don't buy to worth $1 per month. And I don't see that if you have 100,000 people on your list, you will necessarily translate to 100K a month.
No, I don't either. And it really just depends on like you guys were saying, how much you connect with them. And when we think about this idea of how do I build an audience from a bunch of people who are on my list, or people I'm around in Facebook or whatever, like what I find is I can't create separation by just giving actionable content. Like if I'm getting on here and I'm like, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get on here and I'm going to send an email out about 5 tips on live streaming, or I'm going to get on here and I'm going to do a live stream about 5 tips on affiliate marketing. Like that's not enough. Like for me to build some kind of connection with them, to connect with them to where they give a crap about what I'm saying over like what a bigger marketer is saying, I'm going to have to open up somehow personally. I'm going to have to put something out there, some kind of entertainment story type thing, some kind of value like on that level. And I think that is hard for people sometimes.
Yeah, in fact, I don't even really think that's taught very much in any kind of program. I also think along those lines, Cam, and I actually hit you up yesterday, and I'm still waiting for a response on that direct message. But
you can respond to him now.
Keep on waiting, buddy.
Yeah, keep on waiting.
I'm just kidding, man.
But it's about it's about where you're sharing yourself to where you are finding those people that resonate with you, and also another piece that I've been working on as well, and you'll see it more in my live streams as soon as my setup, because I'm waiting to drop all my stuff after I really get everything set up the way I want. But it's insight, that you're not just sounding like another, even though you may be explaining the same concept, you have to, in a sense, you have to give another angle or an insight on it that causes people to have an aha moment that just gets them to go, wow, like
that's a good point.
I've heard that before, but this just resonates. It sinks in. It makes sense now, and it gives them more of a desire and a way mentally to actually implement it. Because the biggest thing is too many people hear a lot of the same stuff over and over, even though it works, but because they've heard it over and over, they don't implement it. And we take for granted the principles that have worked and will continue to work. And it's a flaw kind of human nature, right? Like you hear it over and over and so you go, yeah, okay, yeah, I got that. Yep, that's right. That's one of the things I need to do. And I mean, that works or whatever, but then you're not going to do it just because it's not a shiny object in a sense. It's not something that catches your attention, pulls you in because you've heard it so much.
Yeah, and it's old hat, man. It's old hat.
Yeah, it's become numb to it.
In fact, that's the word I was just going to say. We unfortunately become numb to it, and we need to work. And this is all of us. It even happens to all of us. They even know this is to not become numb on the true principles that actually work and are time tested.
Yeah, and I think a lot of newer guys and girls, I think you touched on something really important there. Like they don't want to have a takeaway. They don't want to have an opinion. But, people don't follow like didactic information. People follow opinions. So it's like you kind of have to have your own 2 cents to weigh in on that subject. No matter how much you might be afraid of it, you got to weigh in on it, and you got to be okay with some people not agreeing with you, because some of them are going to hate you and they're not going to agree with you. That's the only way you're going to like connect with people, in my experience anyway.
Yeah, my opinion is that every hater makes me greater. So I know I'm shaking up somebody somewhere, and if it's nothing but crickets, that worries me.
Yeah, I'd rather be hated than ignored. Yeah.
Terry says, agree with thinking outside the list. You can love carrot cake, but at some point you got to stop chasing the carrot. Know what I'm saying?
What is this one? I missed that somehow.
So agree with thinking
cake.
outside the list. You can love carrot cake, but at some point you got to stop chasing the carrot. Know what I'm saying?
I'm getting hungry.
That really bugs me.
Well, Terry actually, she runs one of her side hustles is she does baking and stuff for tea cakes is her business and whatnot. So she's of course got to have a food reference in there.
I love it. I love some carrot cake. I love all cake.
That's true. Although now I'm gluten free, forced. But anyway, that's hold on a second.
I go off the rails. I have
going off the rails.
I have 3 CDs by cake. So.
Oh man,
there you go. That's a whole other cake. But like she says, agree with thinking outside the list. Again, it's like we said, it's more than just trying to be. I really do. To me, it just really comes down to having some deep insight that really kind of can hit people. And if that's sort of your personality too, you have to. Personally, I think that none of us want to work with anybody we really don't like. Nobody likes to hang out with people that we really don't like.
Right.
And it can be scary sometimes too, because you can think, because I go through this all the time, is I'm very opinionated on things. And I'm like, I'm going to alienate everybody. Is there enough people out there, is what I think at times. And I've proved even after having a lot of success, I still go through the same thoughts. Like, I'm very opinionated, and a lot of it's from experience, but I'm also like, am I just, killing the rest of the world? Because like nobody wants to, hear my opinions exactly how they are. But I also come from the point of, I really want people to succeed. So I'm going to really tell them like it is. I just don't sugarcoat things enough sometimes. I need to, I should say I don't smooth things out. I'm just kind of very direct.
If you were a doctor, would you withhold the information from your patient that they had a tumor the size of a baseball, or would you tell them?
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Yeah. But
yeah, I think
so. I think it's just along those lines too. Are you going to shoot straight? Are you going to be a straight shooter, or are you just going to sugarcoat everything so that when your client or your followers do come smack up against the wall, that they're suddenly disillusioned and disappointed because you never told them what was really going on?
And they didn't really get a full sense of who you were anyway, by sugarcoating everything.
So much for the trusted advisor who didn't tell me the truth. So that's
right. Yeah. Well, what I'm referring to is I think I'm not as smooth, because sometimes I'm just like, well, you're doing it wrong, and here's what you should do. I mean, now some people will take that, oh, he's telling me I was doing it wrong, the way he said it, just directly like that. But
I sometimes it helps just to say, you might want to consider this.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't always do. That's why I'm just saying smooth it out.
Well, you're not saying, idiot, why did you do that? that would be really rude.
Now here's a little distinction that I want to point out as well. I have learned over the years that people that there's two kinds of people, and there's people with more time than money, and people with more money than time.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that have more money than time are willing to pay a higher price.
Right.
Are less hand-holding is typically needed.
Yeah.
And they also need things and want things more direct, to the point.
Mm-hmm.
So that does fit with me, versus, the person who has, more time. So they're like, hey, I'm going to pay like $27 tops for your $4,000 course. And then I'm going to pound you with 50 billion questions, because I'm not really going to read the stuff, and I'm going to complain about how life is hard and all these other kind of things like that. So it does lend itself to that, of being more direct, and more of my material. I'm actually going over to make it more succinct.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
I think being succinct is really important. I mean, but you can't be in this race to the bottom in terms of pricing, because as people go lower and lower in pricing, the questions go up higher and higher, and then your race to the bottom is going to create this bottomless pit of problems with respect to support.
No doubt. Yeah, I think that the idea of just being yourself, like what you were kind of saying there, Troy. Just being yourself, right? And you're gonna repel some people, but you're going to attract the people you're trying to attract. That makes a lot of sense to me, man. And like what Vogelman was saying is, racing to the bottom. Yeah, I don't want to race to the bottom. I don't want to race to the bottom. You got to set a standard for what your prices are and what you're worth, and you're gonna have to let other people work around you a little bit when it comes to that.
But there are some exceptions. I mean, I've seen there are a couple of people who've basically taken their courses and they've given tremendous discounts, 50%, this or that, during a time of economic turmoil and crisis that you've had now.
Yep.
And
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing, because it also shows that you have good intention and you're not in it just for the cash. You don't see people as a credit card number.
I think it's intuitive for the market too. You know what I mean? You kind of got to react to the market a little bit sometimes. And, you see everyone is worried about their wallets and everyone's kind of trying to figure things out. Like, I mean, if I have a $47 a month membership program. So, I mean, if I see that everyone's kind of like weird about how things are right now, then, hey, it's better for me just to knock the price down and just make it $10 a month. And, hey, we'll just leave it like that. We'll grandfather everybody in. When all this is over, you guys can just stay at $10.80 a month and don't worry about it. I think that kind of goodwill will pay off long term. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And those types of price points are low end anyway. They're sort of they're I wouldn't say a loss leader, but because there is some time and financial resources that you put into making that thing happen. But for the most part, they're entry level ports of entry into your big country of marketing.
Yeah, the $10 is. I don't know about the 47. I mean, people will drop at $47 a month. Like if they're not using something, at $47 a month, they're dropping it after like 2 months. At $10 a month, they'll just keep on using it for like a year or two at $10 a month. Even if they're not using it, they just want to have it. So it's really weird.
Discretionary prices for your discretionary income these days seems to be in the sweet spot of like between 27 and 37, or even 17 and 37. Whereas before, when you're knocking on the door of that $50 thing, it was, the 47 was working so that people wouldn't drop out until at least month 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah.
And it really depends on how it delivers. Meaning, if it really delivers and it, whatever they're paying X amount, and they're, man, this would, take me hours and hours and hours and hours to do. So I'm thinking like a SaaS, product or something like that. But
sassy.
Or like some kind of benefit, like I had a membership program where I just gave people 100% commissions through my entire funnel. Like if you remember this club, whenever I put out a new product, you just automatically got 100% commissions as an affiliate, right? And it was called the Super 20 Club. There's only allowed to be 20 members, but all you had to do is drive traffic to the stuff. You didn't have to do anything. The products were just created. Oh, thank you, Terry. Thank you.
Terry likes the fact that you'd grandfather in. You look kind of young to be a grandfather, though. So
I don't feel young, though. That's the thing. That's the unfortunate truth of the matter.
That's right.
Hey, so you, Cam, you mentioned you spend a lot of time on Facebook, and is the reason that your audience tends to hang out there? I mean, they're older crowd, or?
Yeah, I think everybody hangs out there. I think pretty much every single demographic is represented there. I find
what Siri apparently wanted to talk to you, Cam.
Yeah, but yeah, they're there. They're there, man. They're definitely there. And I tell you something else. I think the internet marketing space is it's also a great place for like networking with peers, because I run a lot of affiliate traffic to my launches. So all my affiliates are on Facebook. So for me to contact them, like the whole entire ecosystem is right there on Facebook. And if you're tapped into it and you're friends with all your peers, and then you're friends with your customers and stuff like that, then your timeline is basically like a finger on the pulse of what the market's doing. So that's why I'm there. But to be honest, between us, just us guys, let's not tell anybody else, but I actually hate Facebook, man. I literally hate that platform.
Hey, don't say bad things about Zuckbook.
I know it's not nice.
For the most part, I agree with you too.
I think it's good. It's good for business, I think, more than anything. The funny thing is, I think I have better relationships with people on Twitter than I do on Facebook, which is kind of weird, because you would think that Twitter is about as distant as can possibly be. But I've had some wonderful conversations with marketers on Twitter, particularly in the last 2 months or so.
and I haven't done that, so I'll have to check Twitter out a little bit more.
Sure.
I've really neglected that platform.
I mean, in terms of neglect, I think LinkedIn I've neglected for a long, long time. I mean, I had 4,000 plus people or something like that because I paid for their premium at one point. And I mean, but it's a good collection of people. It's just that the only thing I don't like about LinkedIn is just in the B2B network is people hit me up instantly with their offer. And I just don't, at least in Facebook, I feel that people take a little more time to build up a relationship because
like at least a day or two.
at least give me an hour.
Message or two.
Give me an hour before you propose. So I've just met you.
Yeah.
And I think
buy me dinner first. Goodness sakes.
Yeah, for God's sakes, buy me dinner before you go for the kill. But I noticed that the demographic tends to be older. But I mean, the same thing is true, in terms of audiences. I mean, Instagram was extremely young in terms of its audience, but that has aged significantly. And I think since Facebook owns Instagram, it's just interesting to see. I mean, Instagram still is sort of like into the 40s maybe, whereas Facebook, you see more people in the 50s and 60s, but then it kind of drops off on Facebook after you hit like 64. Not that you as a person have to drop off, but there's just not that much usage.
They kick you out on your 65th birthday.
I'm going to drop off, all right.
They kick you out at 55. You go to Medibook.
You know what, man? Let me give a little tiny context on that Facebook thing, and the reason why I don't really like it. It's because of so it's a little bit like toxic sometimes, as far as like people talking about things that have nothing to do with marketing at all, but they're giving their opinions on racism and politics and this and that and the other, and it's cool. It's nothing wrong with that. That's what Facebook's for. But sometimes like I find myself getting drawn into those conversations, and I hate that, man, because now I'm being used by the social media instead of me using the social media. I'm being used by the social media. That makes sense.
I just don't participate. I mean, it's just for the most part. If I see these political things and stuff like that, I find, though, it's very interesting. I have a wide range of friends in terms of their political viewpoints. And what I find is there's far more that we have in common in terms of our values and beliefs and things than those little things that separate us.
Yeah.
And so for me, if you were going to a party, would you start screaming at people? No, because you'd be the jerk party. And so for me, it's like, okay, they're going to have a heated discussion in the corner about, left wing and right wing stuff. I'm going to go over to the punch bowl or to the bartender and get my drink. So
maybe get some popcorn.
Let me get I get popcorn watching it, but I'd rather start up a conversation with somebody else who seems to be a little more friendly.
Exactly.
And I think that's the whole thing that I see in social media. You look for the people with whom you have a degree of resonance. And, am I going to invite everybody to my house for dinner? No. And so I will have my close friends who are on social media, and we'll direct message each other and instant message and whatever the heck it is. But at the same time, though, maybe there's a big beach party, or it might be college or spring break out there. I'm not necessarily going to go to that party either, with a bunch of spring breakers in their late teens and early 20s. So when you look at social media just as being social primarily, it goes really well, because you're not going to be in a situation where you deliberately try to antagonize people at the party.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
I hope you don't. I mean, in which case I'm not inviting you to my parties. So,
well, you invite them once and then you find out not to invite again. Right?
You figure it out.
Invitation again.
But
that's the fight guy.
That's the interesting thing, So back in the day, we all used to go to forums, right?
Yeah.
And forums were on dog training or internet marketing specific stuff or whatever. And
training your dog to do internet marketing. I mean,
we used to be able to be with our peeps, right? But nowadays, I mean, what Facebook really has, and I've said this before, is it's really just one big forum software. So it allows you to create a new group, which is just a new forum. There's your own page, which is your own forum. So people just bring their lives into that instead of, which includes, like, hey, here's my business stuff, here's my personal stuff, here's just something funny that I want to share. Whereas, if some guy came on, some internet marketing discussion board, and all of a sudden, posted some funny, picture that had even nothing related to marketing, people be like, "What's your problem, dude? Like, that's stupid. You're an idiot," right? But now
Unless
it's like
a cat video. Cat video.
Unless it's a cat video.
That's what the internet was invented for.
Not
We'll
a
let
cat,
that one slide.
not a cat fan, but anyway.
I'm not either, but I thought that's where the internet.
Wait a minute, not even those hairless cats? You're not even down with those hairless cats, man?
Yeah, because you can put a billboard on the side of that cat.
You can put a billboard on the side of that thing, man.
I'm like, look, if you like cats, I'm allergic to them, so but anyway, that's
hey,
part
Troy
of
and I
it.
have something in common.
Hey,
we're both allergic to.
I'm going to connect with you on Facebook.
That's right. We're going to form a new cat. What is it, like? Allergic to cats. Catastrophe.
Oh, that's too good.
Catastrophe Club.
Catastrophe Club.
Oh, that's too good, man.
Yeah. Apostrophe catastrophe. Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So that's really what Facebook has done, is just taken the forum concept, and then just made it so that you can put anything in there, and you can find people who you like, or you resonate with, or they have, or some same interest in, but you're also then going to get all their other stuff. And even like in the groups that you have, you do try to keep them on topic, but they still can get kind of, carried away or whatever and that kind of thing.
Like now.
But I do miss just kind of regular forums.
Yeah.
I mean, some do still exist really, but it's just a different ball game.
Oh, Terry was concerned about our privacy. It's just between you guys.
Oh yeah, that was earlier when Cam was
earlier.
It's okay. You can unplug your ears now. It's over.
I don't know. Are there captions automatically put on here that tell her it's okay?
And I think, and like, don't get me wrong, because I can say I hate Facebook all day. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we have these darlings that pop up, like TikTok right now is popping up, and it's getting hot. A couple years ago it was Snapchat, but the thing about it is, if we go and we measure popularity and we go to where people are spending their time, it's still right. Google's number 1, YouTube's number 2, and Facebook is number 3. So, I mean, you need to be there. I mean, you need to be there if you want to do marketing. Because your market is there.
The Facebookiverse includes Instagram, so it's very easy from within your ads manager or business manager to be able to connect these things back and forth. And the same thing is true then, when you're looking at Google and YouTube. I mean, if you're hitting the Google and the Zookbook, and those properties, you're pretty well covered.
Yeah,
so.
That's true.
But actually, Google is a whole other beast, though, because now you're talking about SEO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if, like for us doing lives and things like that, and that's why I'm actually debating on shooting my stuff live to YouTube, build my audience there, and then and just pushing my stuff, into Facebook, but actually growing the audience because of actually the search potential with it too, and covering specific topics, within each of my videos and having them be succinct.
Yeah.
I think Cam does, and I'll talk about Cam. So when I first met Cam, I was a friend with him. Somebody I didn't know. I just knew he was like into internet marketing, and I saw one of his videos, and I told him, hey, I got the Live Event Marketers group, and then he had a video in there, and I was like, or I had shot one of his. I shared it into the group, and then I was watching. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I shouldn't have shared this, because now he's talking about all this other stuff, whatever. But I kept watching. And then I really liked what he did, is he was telling some story stuff, and then he brought that around how it fit into marketing. It was different than kind of most of the stuff that I had seen. I thought, I really like that. And he carries into, he does a lot. He does like me, like, give me any topic, man. And since, I've been around, he's been around, even if Dr. V's been around, but I mean, we could talk about stuff for hours on end. Right. But that's where I'm doing the live snippet format, where I'm taking something and I'm being succinct on it, teaching how, and I want to give some insight, or as much as possible, because sometimes it's just almost like factual, right? Here's something that you need to know, and it's going to reach different audiences. Like, here's some more of the beginner stuff and that kind of thing. But that's where YouTube is really good, where you could do a particular topic and then be found when people are searching for something on that topic, and building an audience there. Whereas Facebook, hey, look, man, you're going to kind of get your first your burst of audience right when you kind of come out, and then you might get some traction, but it's just going to continue to fade. Where I see actually some life still within your stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, it has a longer life for sure. It's not a slave to the timeline. With
Right.
Facebook, it's everything is a slave to the timeline, man. It's not relevant by tomorrow with Facebook.
Right.
It's not so with YouTube. I mean, so it's it takes longer to get YouTube going, especially now in 2020. It's very difficult. You really have to bring your own audience into YouTube. It wasn't like that in 2015, man. I could get a few thousand subscribers on my YouTube channel. I mean, man, I started a YouTube channel on the NutriBullet, right? This blender, and it was like, I don't know, 2015 or something. I took that thing to 10,000 subscribers, no problem. And it was just like, all we talked about was the NutriBullet, just specific subjects, right?
We have
yeah,
two of them.
I love that blender. It's fantastic. Now I think now I kind of want a Vitamix, but I'm
trying to figure out, we have another one that was gifted because my wife Maggie's a food blogger. I'm trying to remember what it was, but she loves this other one. It's sort of an alternative to it. It's interesting. I was looking at some of the statistics on YouTube, and it's very interesting to see the huge percentage of people in all age groups on YouTube.
Everybody's there. I mean, it's like TV.
It's a television. Like 13 to 17-year-olds, 85%, 18 to 29-year-olds, 91%, 30 to 49-year-olds, 87%, 50 to 64-year-olds, 70%. But then when you go 65 plus, I don't know what happens to them. It's only 38%.
What's that 65 thing, man? You just drop off.
38%. You just drop off. But I think that's a function of when people were born and their mastery of technology and viewing habits, because television viewers tend to be skewed much older. The 18 to 20, or actually the 13 to 29-year-olds, more than half of them never watch a television program.
Yeah.
So I think that's, so if somebody's really depending upon reaching that demographic on TV, guess again, you better be advertising on the tube of you.
The tube of you.
The tube of you.
Dr. V's full of them, so.
My dad used to say I was full of it, and I was assuming he meant brains.
Well, I did say full of M, apostrophe EM kind of thing. So that's
M. I need a rim shot. What I need.
Yeah, you do. But so that's kind of the one thing that I'm looking at is really, I mean, I'll be on both. Look, actually, I believe in omnipresence, though. Honestly, like if you can have a process, and I'm all for automation, but there's also a point too. Like I'll really quickly bring it back to what we talked about earlier. You don't want to be so automated to your audience that you're not connecting with them. Like I have people that come into live event marketers and they'll drop their live event, right, and then they're never in the group at all. And I'm like, you're missing out on the biggest part of the group, which is the connection with the other marketers in there, because then you're looking at JV stuff, other things you can, talk to them about, whether it's like, hey man, I heard you talking about something. Have you used this service? Or like, they any good? Cause man, it's like $297 a month. Like, I want to talk to somebody I have maybe some trust in, like their opinion. Cause at least I know them a little better than just these testimonials on their site that I don't know.
It's
anyway,
the marketer's water cooler.
There you go.
I think that's where the Facebook group thing differs from like the old school forums, because the forums were a complete ecosystem. People used to hang out there and they were there. Yeah. With the Facebook group, it's so easy. People just get distracted into other places on Facebook so fast with the push the notifications up there, and it's crazy, man. And I think the people in those groups, they do tend to struggle keeping people engaged in the group.
I really think it's a great idea to create your group or your tribe off of Facebook or YouTube or anything else like that, and then to market to them. Of course, you have your email list, and so you can create the platform outside. Because I'm always concerned about friends of mine and others who've just been shut down completely by Facebook, either for their page is gone, their group is gone, their personal account is gone, whatever it is. I've seen it happen with doctors. It's like, what do I do now? My practice page is gone. And they were actually getting inquiries and people looking at them. And but being able to offload into a platform like I love James Schramko, and he always talks about the OTR, the own the race course. You own the race course, other people can bring the horses there. But if you're just a jockey riding a horse and somebody kicks you off the race course, you're done.
That's the problem, man. I mean, like, I think that is a big problem. I mean, it's so easy for me to go out and purchase a forum, right? And
Yeah.
that's now I own the racetrack, right? And it's great. The problem is nobody wants to hang out at my racetrack. Like, everyone's on these major
Well,
social media. It's like an
and this,
ecosystem to hang out in.
yeah, and this is why, maybe having comments or bots or messenger or things like that that are on your racetrack that can connect people to this. Like when we've seen comments, for example, and there are other platforms that are out there. What were they? Some of the ones that I'm trying to remember now. Oh, not live stream. There's a number of these other ones, like some of the free platforms, and you can bring in comments from different places. Like somebody may want to comment from YouTube, somebody may want to comment from Facebook, somebody else may want to comment from another platform. You can connect those in such a way that even having on a WordPress site, having your Facebook Messenger can give people a little sense of comfort, and you can still use that Facebook group or page or anything else like that as your primary means or your social circle. But just in case you get shut down, it's good to have that email list that you talked about.
For sure. I think the email list, personally,
yeah,
that is my racetrack. The email list is my racetrack, right? And then everything else is kind of what Troy was saying about omnipresence. It's really about putting yourself out there and kind of pulling people to your funnel and getting them on your list.
I would venture to say, because Gary Vee and a couple other people are getting really big on TikTok only because they see it as what Instagram was, say, 5 years or 7 years ago. It's just that, get to the point where you can get people off of a platform like that. Use TikTok to drive people to your YouTube channel. I mean, there's nothing that says that you can't do that or drive people from somewhere else because the omnipresence gives you that opportunity to pull people in. And in terms of Facebook ads, we've always talked about you never can have affiliate links or things. Facebook frowns on those, but you can bring people off of Facebook and keep the images and the language and everything remarkably similar to what you had there. So as you pull them into a landing page, they still feel a level of comfort, nurture them a little bit more, and then send them into the next room.
I think that's a fantastic way to do it, man. And I think that's a great way to get started with a very low budget too. You don't even have to do any paid advertising with that. So
no, just establish relationships, because it's all about relationships. People buy from people. They know. People say it's no like and trust. I think it's no love and trust, because people really have to want to hang out with you in order to give you their credit card number or.
Yeah, I kind of agree too. I think it is more love, although what they really meant with the like though was that they like you. But that which really falls kind of into love, because nowadays I think this is what it is too. Like we talked about earlier, we've heard like too much. It's actually because it's actually used, right? Like the thing. And it's so easy to go, oh, okay, that was cool, like, and then you just go on. So now a like is just like tossing it out.
The algorithm and your relationships will respond to the love more than the like.
Really? I didn't know that, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's, if you show emotion is much better than just a like, because likes are casual. You actually have to have a little effort in there to be able to choose the right.
I think, I don't know to what level, but anything to the right of the like. So you got, you're angry, you're wow, any of those.
Show me some sort of emotion. So
the algorithm will actually differentiate between those different responses.
Sure, it's
that's fantastic, man.
It's a piece of code. So that's why you want people to give me some hearts, is what a lot of people do in these large broadcasts. So.
And now they got the care. Now they got the little care care one. I haven't found the right appropriate place to use the little care one. I keep on trying to use it. And I'm like, oh man,
something that has. It's sort of bittersweet or tragic or whatever, I'm sending.
Yeah,
I use it between like love and care, like, oh, I care about that, or that was cool. Oh, kind of, but not like, like I love, or I don't know. I just depends on which one I feel like hitting.
I like the care better than I'm sending you thoughts and prayers. But that's
when I'm looking at cats, I'm going to use the heart, and when I'm looking at dogs, I'm going to use the care.
The care. I don't care.
But actually, some people do. Speaking of that, some people do for like with live things. They'll do, use the heart or the care or the angry face for voting.
Yeah,
nice. That's smart.
It was funny, but it's funny to see how people respond to it too. Like somebody who's really big marketer, like Rich Sheffrin from one of the old OGs, he saw one that there was a hate on one the other day, and he just was fixated on that one. The one angry face got him. He's like, angry? What did I say? What did I do?
You know what? I love his live streams, man.
He's great.
They're,
Those
they're,
are great. Those are some of my favorites. And
yeah, he does a great job. And that's actually where when I saw him doing the thing where he was putting the people's comments up on the screen like that, I was like, dude, that's genius. Why am I not doing that? So
it's like, I can't wait to be on the little billboard that's right there.
yeah, I know, right? It's funny.
Whoa, I just reduced my screen. I reduced the whole screen, and StreamYard is now in the corner. Okay, nobody put StreamYard in the corner.
Nobody.
Into a corner,
Nobody. But apparently I just did. So, God.
This has been pretty cool.
I'm not here at the controls. That's why. Man. Hey, so where are we in time-wise? Oh, 50. We're almost to the top of the hour. We got about the maximum, probably 10 minutes or so. So in terms of audiences, I mean, so all of us, I guess, spend most of our time marketing with Facebook as opposed to Instagram or Twitter or other things like that.
You know what? I do Facebook, and sorry, Troy, were you gonna go? You can go, man. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, all right. Cool.
I do Facebook, YouTube, and I use Anchor as like a distribution platform to go out to audio platforms like Spotify and iTunes. Yeah, and it's been pretty good. It works pretty good. The metrics are a little bit harder to it's a little more intangible as far as like, okay, did this person buy my course because they listened to my podcast or what? So it's a little bit.
You're not alone. So I spent 33 years in practice. And so I did Yellow Page ads, I did coupons, I did merchandiser, I did all these different things. Yeah. And we had a little checklist in the office, and you said, how did you hear about us?
Yes.
And so you would say Yellow Pages. No, it wasn't Yellow Pages. It just so happens they saw the ad in a magazine or newspaper. They went to the Yellow Pages to find me and used that to call, or it was a friend made the referral and then they went to the Yellow Pages, but the last thing that they remembered was Yellow Pages.
That's amazing, dude. And you know what? I started using that tactic with my podcast, and I would say, hey, listen, guys, I want to know who's listening to this, and I want to know where you're listening to it at.
Yeah.
Hit me up in my email, camjenningspro@gmail.com. I got a free gift for you. Let me know if you hated this podcast. Let me know if you loved it.
Exactly.
And let me know where you heard it from, man. And I got a free gift for you. And I used that for a couple podcasts, man, and it worked out fantastic. And I was like, oh wow, I do got people listening to this on Spotify. That's amazing.
Give me those 1-star reviews, because at least they're taking action.
Yeah. But it is weird, though. It's more intangible. It's more like an offline business when it comes to just trying to track where people are,
That's why we have pixels, allegedly. But
yeah, it actually would be cool if they had a service. I'm not aware of one. I'm not podcasting yet, but I will be. But where you can have, in essence, like on the end, where you can have individual audio tags that you can put into the back end. So like, hey, hit me up at this address. Like you'd record all these snippets, and then they would just tag them onto each one. So Spotify would get this one, Apple would get this one, and that kind of thing. So you can actually end up tracking.
So here's the question: when it comes to podcasts, what would you suggest as your favorite length of podcasts?
Well, I think it depends on what you want to do at the end of the day, right? What you're comfortable with, what makes you comfortable when you're dealing with it. For me personally, I like that 20 to 40 minute situation, but I kind of like am operating from the standpoint of omnipresence, like what Troy was talking about. So I don't care if you hear my podcast on Spotify or if it's on my YouTube channel or if it's on Facebook. Ultimately, I want to use it to push people to my funnel and get you on my list. So, it's really, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, you guys.
No, I get what you're saying, because that really is the purpose of omnipresence is you want to bring people in to just basically then filter out who are the people that really you connect with. But, the interesting thing too is though, now again, like what I was starting to say earlier, and then we just kind of went off another topic, is with omnipresence, if you can automate that in the sense that, when you, for example, like any of the podcasting services, well, boom, you make a podcast and it'll fire them out to the different services. Okay. That's
automatically.
That's an automation type thing. So you want to have all your things. So if your video is going to YouTube, if you can automate that, and et cetera, et cetera. So you want to have all that automated, because if not, if it just becomes more work, then it's it's just more your time. Because to me, I also believe in making enough money to maintain the lifestyle you want to have, not working harder and then your lifestyle suffers for it.
Who wants to work all the time?
Right.
And a platform like StreamYard, for example, we're broadcasting right now. We're on Periscope on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're simulcasting. And that's an automation that really leverages your content amazingly so. I still don't know how much we're being penalized for automating it compared to using the native app, though.
Right. But I think at the same time, it comes down to that it's you're going to, pick up the numbers being everywhere. You know what I mean? And I'd rather go for the numbers being everywhere than just trying to say, well, I'm going to go live on Facebook with their app.
I'm thinking also in terms of just thinking about the different kinds of parties you might go to. Like there's, you might feel most comfortable at an intimate dinner party with a dozen friends, as opposed to going to the kegger or going to the, some other type of a wild party. But there may be people at those different places. Like maybe there's somebody at the rave and at the kegger who might be part of your audience, but they usually don't hang out in those places. So your omnipresence might bring in a couple of those folks, but it may very well be that Facebook or something else is going to be your primary way of reaching people.
I do think that people need to not sleep on Spotify. I definitely think people need to be paying attention to Spotify. I mean, I know everybody's looking at TikTok right now, but I mean, shots have been fired. I mean, Spotify.
Shots have been fired? It's not so violent.
Yeah. Right across the bow.
Yeah. Shots have been fired.
Look at Joe Rogan.
When Spotify took signed that deal with Joe Rogan, they took him away from YouTube, right? I mean, that's a direct fire right there. So and they've already said they're going to start working on implementing video. So because of that Joe Rogan deal, and I mean, it's a big deal, man. It's definitely coming up. So I mean, who else is taking on YouTube?
And even Flickr only used to do photos. Now they've added video as well. I mean, there's just going to be continuing more where video is going to be.
And then there'll be more consolidation. YouTube will buy Flickr from Yahoo, or who knows what's going to happen next, and Twitch, the Twitch purchase and all these other things. So I think the greatest challenge I see is consolidation in media. When you see the Book of Faces getting WhatsApp and getting this app and this one and everything else, my concern is that there will be the control over those avenues for direct messaging people will be an issue. Because right now the DMs on Instagram are amazing. I mean,
nice.
Well, I just look at it like this with your omnipresence. I mean, so somebody buys them and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Another new one comes out. Again, as long as you have an automated process where you can just fire your live stream into that, or your final video or your final audio. And you're just you need to just be an octopus with 8 arms and 9 arms and 10 arms, and you just go out.
Those 8 or 9 arms may not be enough for you, because I can tell you for a fact that when you develop a really good following on something like Instagram, it becomes almost a full-time job to manage the DMs.
Wow.
Well,
because you get hundreds a day, and they're expecting you to create some sort of a conversation, or at least acknowledge them.
Right. And I do agree with you in the sense that you need to determine which platforms you're going to be on, and how you're going to be on them. So I do think, yes, you need to interact to some degree. So like with YouTube, you got some videos on there, and you either have a staff member or yourself that gets on there and does some responding but if you're wanting to do something where it is heavily, now again, I don't do Instagram, but from what I understand, it is, people are really wanting to connect. Okay, that may be something that, well, first off, you can't really just pipe it. You just can't automate into that yet. Exactly.
Things that you can, like your favorite responses. And I've seen that on just the regular Instagram, not the DMs, where you'll see some very high level people who may not always be outsourcing that to staff members. And they'll just put little emojis, hit, high 10, preparatory things, rather than actually typing out words.
But at the same time, I also want to get we were talking about earlier with Cam. Hey, I want to get them on my list, though. I mean, that's nice and all. Hey, I can connect with you there, but if I can't ultimately
get them on the list,
I don't want to say this in a negative way. Like if I can't have control over them, versus me having to work through a third party like Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, where I'm dependent upon reaching them through those things, then I have a problem, because they can shut me down at any particular time for whatever reason they want to.
I want to control you.
Yeah, so then that kind of comes back, kind of circles back around. When we think about circling back around to the list, then we can be as omnipresent as we can be, as we can tolerate, right? As omnipresent as we can handle, especially if we include automation. However, we have to pay attention to our funnel in the back. Like, we have to have that thing converting at a fairly decent level with that squeeze page, at a fairly decent level with whatever our low ticket thing is that we're pushing off the back of that. And then whatever we're pushing by email and the automated sequence, I think that it's important that that's kind of dialed in, and people need to be trying to dial that in as they go and as they're pushing traffic. So
I like to refer to it as the nurturing sequence.
yeah, exactly. That's true though. Yeah, the nurturing sequence. I love nurturing. I'm working on a nurturing sequence right now. So yeah.
Do you have a nursery?
I have a nursery. I have a couple nurseries.
Nurture away.
Oh, see, at the top of the hour, Cam wanted to bust into the old funnel.
Yes.
The funnel details.
I wait. Like maybe that's a discussion for another show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fun with funnels.
Fun with funnels. Man, guys, thanks so much for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Please feel free to come back anytime, because we never know when John's going to be stranded in the wilderness or anything. And plus, we've learned we have 6 slots. So.
All right, guys. You guys got any questions for me? I'm getting ready to take off.
Well, what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and finish up kind of like your key takeaway from today's discussion or whatever.
A quick summary.
Cool.
In 1 sentence or 2.
Or 20.
No, 20 in Troy's case. This guy, 20 sentences.
Who's going first?
We're gonna take you, since you're fresh meat.
I love it. First, my takeaway, the big takeaway for me is omnipresence, omnipresence. And just, simple things, right? Simple things like this, just being on the show like this and putting myself in front of other people who wouldn't normally see me just by hanging out with you guys. It's all part of omnipresence, right? And I think that's a big takeaway for me when it comes to the show.
Dr. V?
Okay, I'll give you mine, which is when coming to the social media party, be a nice party guest. People will like you, and choose the party you go to carefully.
Yeah.
Troy, there.
All right. Well, I definitely, okay, now I'm going to do my comments on your guys' thing, then I had mine. Okay, again, I super agree on.
That's not in the rule book.
Yeah, actually, it's under the asterisk part for Fridays. So
don't be an asterisk at the party.
Asterisk. I say, like we talked about earlier, be yourself. Hopefully, which is the good guy. And if anybody gets offended by guy, I'm using that as the term that is inclusive to everybody.
Non-gender guy.
Because I ain't doing this political correctness stuff, all right?
Him, her, his.
It, they, unicorn, etc. Okay, and then I agree with omnipresence, but automate it. But then understand that even with automation, you do have to get your finger in on it. So if you want to really bring those people over to your list, which is what your ideals, what you really should be looking to do with it, not just being on another platform, but connect with these people. These are people that you can really build friendships with. Dr. V and Cam, I met through networking. And that's really what it is. You're going to eventually looking to network and connect with these people that you're going to meet on these other platforms and stuff. And I guess I really leave it. That is my last thought. Is I do agree with the omnipresence type thing, and I also believe in taking. So like Cam's full of a ton of ideas. Dr. V is, and myself, and what we need to do. My suggestion is to instead make your videos more succinct and focus on a particular topic, because what happens is people will buy into one of your ideas that you may have, but then 5 minutes later you're still going, and now you're onto another idea, and by the end of your thing you've covered at least 4 or 5 or 6, or who knows what level they're at. They might have like 20 different ideas from your stuff, and now guess what they're going to do once they get off the video? Nothing.
Nothing.
And it's only because they're overwhelmed and they're afraid of choosing the wrong one to do. And so just
afraid of making choices.
Yeah. And so you'll see me, again, it's hard for me to do, but I'm actively working on a flow system for me where I'm being more succinct and covering pretty much one topic so that people can go, that doesn't really apply to me right now, so that's cool, but I like, Troy offered it. Or, hey, I could implement it this way. So just try to be succinct and not add to the noise that people are having, because there's just too much noise for people nowadays.
Fantastic. That's a good point.
All right, with that, guys.
All right, so we will be back next week. Cam, you're welcome to come back, because we always have room here at the Marketing Happy Hour. That's going to be on Friday, a week from today, at 5 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Hawaiian time, and every place in between. So.
Hey, 4 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Mountain.
4 Central, 3 Central, whatever Central you are. Alaskan, noon Alaskan, I think, or 1. I can't figure that one out because Hawaiians didn't change. So, hey, aloha, y'all.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'll catch up with you guys later on.